Okay, just set things up here a little bit. And I think we're good to go. Let's get level. There we go. Peanut butter. Peanut butter, natural peanut butter is good for you. All right, folks. This is Ernie, the trader of futures. And today, I want to talk about, without trying to get political, because you know me, I am not political. No, not at all. But trying to step back, look inside myself from the outside, as if I am, my objective self now is non-political. I'm looking in at myself and other people, how they might be affected in the way they vote, in the way they trade, in the way they invest, in the way they act in the real world, and how will that affect the markets? Oh boy, I forgot to get the comments up. I mean, how can I do this show without you? I need the comments. Where the hell are they? Holy crap. I am screwed. All right, I guess I got to start all over here. Need to go to YouTube. Need to go to YouTube Studio. Sorry about this. I thought I had it up, but I was doing so many things. I'm so busy. Taking care of the alert service, taking care of my other businesses, taking care of the family business. All right, other features, live streaming. So in order to get to this, you got to go and click through so many friggin' things just to get to your live stream. Although I will have to admit it has improved somewhat. All right, there's the chat. Need to pop it out and bring it over. I wonder if I could do something novel. Could I do something novel? I wonder if it would be really cool if I had a kind of chat or the kind of system where I could, where you guys could see the chat and at the same time see me. And then you could see the chat happening in the screen. But is that really useful? I don't know. I'd always have to be on screen share. Now, what would that do if I went on screen share? Would I go through one of those endless loops? Let's see what happens when I do that. I think I will. I think I'll go through an endless loop. So that doesn't work. Ooh, time tunnel. So we can't do that. We must take ourselves off of screen share. However, I could go over here. I could place the chat. And then we could look at the market. Yeah. We could look at the market and look at the chat at the same time. That would work. And then I have to share the screen again, but then you won't be able to see me. Fuck! Damn! you want. Always a compromise. Need the right tools. I'm just talking to myself. And so then now what I'll do is I'll share desktop 2. That's over here. There. Ah, yes. Oh. Now you can see the chat. But what I really want is I want me with the chat. But see, you got the chat right next to you anyways, right? In YouTube, but it's not the same. Evert Baptist. Good afternoon. When is this going to start? It starts at the same time every day unless I start late at 1 o'clock. It said 12 p.m. earlier. No, it didn't. I put it on for 1 p.m. That's not my fault. Constant. HTML coin equals the future. What the hell? What the frig is an HTML coin? If it's got to be a shit coin. Wrong. Crypto Bacon. We always see the chat and you at the same time. Well, then what the fuck am I doing? Here I am. I'm trying to make it easier for you. Spending way too much time for you guys. That's all I was trying to do. All right. So yes, you can see the chat in the YouTube window. And that's a good thing. Now, what I have to do is I have to put the chat somewhere where it looks like I am looking at you, but I'm not. I'm looking at the chat. See, I always have to look up to see it because I have to look over the camera. I can do this. All right. Now we've gotten past all the crap. It's on to the show. Oh, Apple News Spotlight. What is that saying? I think there's a new feature on the Mac OS Mojave. That's their new Mac OS. It is now Mojave. Remember they were into cats before? You know, lion, leopard, snowcat, blah, blah, blah. And then they got into, now they're into places. So now it's Mojave. They were into Sierra and Mojave. What time do polls close on Election Day? A state-by-state guide. Well, you would not want to know that, right? Because most of them close by 7 or 8 p.m., depending on where you are. But each state is a little bit different. So, for instance, in Alaska, it's from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Isn't that interesting? In Massachusetts, it is from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m., although some towns may decide to open voting as early as 5:45 a.m. Whoa, who gets up that early besides me? Michigan polls, they're all about the same thing. Mississippi, they constricted a little bit from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Wonder why. In Minnesota, some voting places open up as late as 10 a.m. So they're not giving you very many options. For most people, they want to go before work or after work. Me, I don't work, so I can go whenever the fuck I want. New York is open until 9 p.m. so that they can usher in all the illegal aliens. I would imagine that's probably the same thing for California, right? No, they're only open until 8 p.m. How about Arizona? No. Oh, they open early, 6 a.m. So they get all the illegal aliens in the morning. Plus, at 6 a.m., I guess, you know, you're up before the sun gets up and you don't burn to a crisp. What else? Where else is it different? In Kentucky, it's from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. So after work, forget about it in Kentucky. Why do they close so early? I think that's voter manipulation. They're suppressing the vote. And of course, anybody that offers a, requires you to have an ID of any kind, a proper ID, one that doesn't have an expiration date. So if you lost your license or it was expired and you were too much of a dumbass to go and renew your license, and you don't have something that shows with a proper expiration that you're you, then you don't get to vote because you're a dumbass. Now, some people would say that that's racist because they assume, or only liberals assume this, that all minorities are dumbasses. That's what liberals assume. They assume that minorities are dumbasses and can't get an ID or can't get somewhere to update their ID or renew it because they're dumbasses. That's what they believe. So they're the ones that are racist. North Dakota has an interesting one. First of all, nobody lives up in North Dakota. Polls will open between 7 a.m. and 9 a.m., so it's kind of variable. If you get there early, and you might end up having to wait for 2 hours, and close between 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. What happens if you get there at 7:30 and it's closed and you say, I thought it was going to be open until 9 p.m.? However, in precincts where fewer than 75 votes were cast in the last general election, polls can open up as late as noon. That's because they have some towns with less than 75 people or voters. Oregon. Voters must mail or drop off their ballots to the appropriate county office by 8. So in Oregon, you don't go into places, you just sort of drop off your ballot? Now that is asking for voter fraud. Vermont, polls will open between 5 a.m. and 10 a.m. and close at 7 p.m. I like these variable things. I guess within each town, you'll know when it's going to open. In Washington, how about the District of Columbia? Do they have that as a separate place? Yes. Oh, that's very simple. 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. in District of Columbia. And Florida, 7 to 7. In Georgia, polls will open at 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., although in places with population more than 300,000 people, they can extend it to 8 p.m. so that they can go and they can watch the news and see, how the polling's going, then decide whether or not they want to go to vote. You don't think people don't do that? They do that. So the markets today are experiencing a tremendous amount of volatility. And the reason for that is that it's the day before the election. And I expect that volatility to increase. Up and down, 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 up and down. That kind of volatility. And it will probably stay like that until sometime tomorrow afternoon, at which time nobody's going to know what any of the results are, although we have been doing these I guess, early cast ballots now. I guess that's the new thing. Pretty soon, we're not going to have election day. It's just going to be elections year round. Early cast ballots, which have heavily favored the GOP. I guess that depends on who you ask. In Tennessee, they have what appears to be the most complex. Polling hours vary by county, but those in the Eastern time zone, well, that's because they span 2 time zones, I guess. In the Eastern time zone have to close at 8 p.m., and those in the Central time zone must close by 7 p.m. so that they can't go and they look at the news and say, oh, polling locations have to stay open for at least 10 hours but cannot remain open longer than 13. All right. In Washington, West Virginia, Wyoming, and Wisconsin. Okay, that's about that. Now, that was the big story that came from Apple News. That's a new application that's available on Mojave called News. And whenever there's news that I can use or what Apple decides that I must read, it will notify me and say, hey, Ernie, you must read this because we have deemed you to be this. And so therefore I only get fed the news that Apple has decided is appropriate for me. I'm not sure exactly how they do that. They must have the camera open and watch me and decide who I am and what I do. Very, very interesting. So last week, I was occupied. I was performing an operation. Now, it's not like a medical operation or anything like that. It had nothing to do with healthcare. It had nothing to do with cutting somebody open. Well, it could have had something to do with cutting someone open, but not in that sense. I was involved in I guess what one might consider a strategic and intelligence operation. Super secret. It was a hack. A hack that totally discombobulated the mainstream media. That's all I'm going to say. You may figure out the rest. But I can tell you that it made national news, made international news. It was on every major network, mainstream media, every cable network. Virtually every friggin' paper in the country reported on it. That's all I'm going to say. And there will be other such operations where we will totally own the mainstream media and media hacks and everyone else that's involved or calls themselves a journalist, and show with exacting certainty how unscrupulous and unjournalistic they actually are. Am I going to spill the beans about my top secret meeting? Well, it was much more than a meeting. It was an operation. All eyes. Ernie, you bash crypto. You're on the friggin' crypto again, all eyes. For Christ's sake, get the fuck off crypto. Who the fuck cares about fucking crypto? I don't fucking care about crypto. I don't know why you care about crypto. And if you care about it so friggin' much, why do you keep on asking me? And I don't want to hear. Well, anyways, crypto. Crypto sucks. Crypto's going down until it stops going down. Crypto is not for us for quite some time. Why should anyone listen to anything you have to say on crypto? Why? Because I've been exactly right. How's that? As much as I don't care about crypto, I'm perhaps the only person that has gotten it right, exactly right, for the past year. That's why you should listen to me on crypto. And that's also why you should listen to me when I say crypto, for the time being, is comatose. It's dead, as far as I'm concerned. You missed the bull run in December, and we'll miss the next one based on... Huh? I missed the bull run? How do you know I missed the bull run? How do you know that? I called the bull run, and then I called when it was going to stop. And you think I missed it? I got to move this camera a little bit so I can see the comments better. There. Now comments, camera aligned. Okay, Toucan Sam says politicians usually say extreme things to get elected. No shit. And then they become more moderate after they are elected, except for Obama. He became far more liberal. As a matter of fact, he became radical liberal after he became elected. And that's why we hated him so much. Even though I did vote for him the first time. Only because I wanted... The only reason why I voted for Obama the first time is I wanted to say in a posthumous way that I voted for the first black president. That's why I voted for him. Not because I believed anything that he had to say. That is the only reason why I voted for him. The second time around, there was no way in hell I could vote for him, and I couldn't understand how anybody else could vote for him. He was such a poor leader. He dragged this country through the mud, an apologist to everybody. He made us look so friggin' weak. Oh my God. But anyways, getting back, they do not all become moderate after they are elected. Obama is a glaring exception to that. Now, Bill Clinton did become more of a moderate, but mostly because he had to in order to work with Congress, because Congress was virtually a lock on the Republican side for a little bit. Then he had it on the other side, but he was more moderate. Although he hired extreme leftists in most of his cabinet. And he did inculcate and develop some of the initial parts of the deep state that would eventually weaponize the backdoor politics, backdoor government. Hugh Keston, I approve this message. Yes, I approve this message. Ernie, oh, okay, that was all lies. Going back to Toucan Sam, but Trump can rile up his base by saying he will kill immigrants. He's never said he will kill immigrants. What the fuck is that? Trump never said, and he doesn't say he hates all immigrants. As a matter of fact, if you've ever been to a Trump rally, you would notice that there is a rainbow of people at his rally. And they're all loved, and they're all showing the love. He does not hate immigrants. He hates illegal immigrants. There is a distinction. Triggered. I wasn't triggered. Now, anybody that has been watching me for a long time, when you see me get all riled up, you got to know that I am in complete control of my emotions at every one time, and that the riledness, the exuberance, the over-the-top behavior that I show on camera is completely under my control. Completely. And pretty much that, if you see me in real life, I'm like that as well. I'm very animated in real life as I am on camera. It's just the way I am. But I listen to and hear and observe everything that I do and say and think. I have that ability to step outside myself. It's the Buddhist training in me. But I don't get triggered. Well, once in a while I do. When the wife and I start arguing about politics, because we're on opposite ends of the spectrum. She's super left, and I'm not super right. I'm kind of like right of center, libertarian constitutionalist, which in today's world would make me a white nationalist Nazi pig. But I am a classical liberal in that sense, in the same sense that people were liberal back in the 60s and the 70s. And then all of a sudden it started, that idea of liberal, the Thomas Jefferson type liberal, constitutionalist, believing, but, socially liberal, fiscally conservative type of person. I mean, John Kennedy today would be considered a white nationalist Nazi pig, guaranteed. I think futures market is making it less volatile. I loved when it had massive swings. You love that. Well, I mean, the futures market is relatively volatile right now. Today it is, anyways. All I says, you have not been right. Yeah, I have been right. Calling a crash after a bull is not hard. What? I called it before the fucking thing happened, you fucktard. Excuse the language, but, it's necessary. You missed crash now. You've missed before crash now, and try to get everyone to hold zero for the next run. What the hell are you talking about? You obviously have not listened. You're just an antagonist. That's what you are. I'm the protagonist. You are the antagonist. And obviously not have listened to me. I have said that I am going to be in accumulation mode as crypto and Bitcoin gets down, in the below 4,000 area, approaching 1,000. I'm in accumulation mode there. That's my plan. Same plan as all the Wall Streeters, if they so choose to get in. which is a mistake to believe that they've already gotten in. Maybe a few here and there, but nobody in their right mind has gotten in. They wouldn't be allowed to, first of all, and they're not stupid enough to get in and buy at these prices. Phil LeDrew. Oh, you're a new guy. How you doing, Phil? Not cryptography. Cryptocurrencies are mostly stupid. But there is nice tech that we're working on. But that doesn't mean anything for most people. You don't speculate on Linux or USB-C. What does that got to do with anything? What does Linux or USB-C have to do with anything? Are you saying that because, you know, they are also cool tech, I don't say anything about them? Why aren't I lopping those in with other cool tech that is, you know, I've created lots of cool tech in my lifetime and been the progenitor and the overseer of many cool techie things that have been created, and they went nowhere because the market didn't want them. So I'll admit there's a lot of cool tech being used, and some of it may or may not be reused or repurposed. But right now it's not being used because most of the public could give a shit about cryptocurrencies or blockchain or distributed ledgers, which is a more generic term, directed acyclic graphs, or any other type of distributed ledger technology. Most people could give a flying fuck about what it means to them, because it means nothing to them. It means nothing to most companies too, because they haven't yet been able to figure out how they're going to alter their business model to incorporate, how they're going to change the culture, invest in the right resources, and then make something of it. They have no idea. Here, you'll get triggered again. XRP will be taken overtake BTC. That won't trigger me because I don't give a shit. XRP overtake BTC. That'll never happen. That's a nice dream, but it won't trigger me. You see, the thing is, you know nothing about XRP. I know everything about XRP. I know the backstory about XRP and SWIFT and international bank transfers. Probably knew that backstory longer than, well, I don't know how old you are, but I'm going to just suggest probably longer than you've been alive. Because it has 40 plus years. Toucan Sam, should I marry someone who has completely different political views than I do? Well, that's what I did, but we don't talk about politics. And every once in a while, she likes to bring it up and say, hey, we're not going to talk about politics. Then she keeps on going talking about it. I'm saying, I thought you weren't going to talk about politics. I don't want to talk about politics. All we do is fight when we talk about politics. So let's not talk about politics. But it happens every once in a while. The bottom has been in for months. Man, all eyes, you are just such a dreamer. But I admire that. I didn't say no one knows anything. I'm just saying that you don't know anything. I'm saying that you're a dumbass. And don't take that personal. Because it's not meant to be a personal slight or anything like that. But anyways, Toucan Sam's asking, do you still take me seriously because my name is Toucan Sam? I don't take anybody's stage name, with either seriously and unseriously. I don't care. For the longest time, I had the nickname that started when I was younger, Earn the Burn. And I earned that nickname. And then eventually my friends, they wanted to shorten it, so they called me E the B, and then eventually it became Eb. And so now, to a lot of my friends that I've had now for 45 years, they call me Eb. And one of them has come up with a term. Whenever I try to put things into my own perspective, they call that Eb-splaining. Ernie, from your background at Sun, etc., any comment on IBM buying Red Hat? No, they're kind of in the same business. IBM will use Red Hat technology and incorporate in that, and then provide services for it. But I don't think that they have any need to buy Red Hat. Now, I am unaware or haven't been watching any of the recent goings on in corporate America, so I don't know if they've been talking about that. So I might be off base there. You, Keston, I don't trust your AI service. That's because you're a dumbass. You know nothing about it. You haven't used it. You're an idiot. The AI service has been performing fantastically, by the way. Fantastic. Fan-friggin-tastic. Has the Andrew Watt, how you doing? Marijuana market bottomed? Has it? As he sits here with his cannabis shirt. And made a whole bunch of see in there? All that brown stuff? That is all... It's all rosin that I made last week. But I don't think the marijuana market has bottomed. I want cheaper weed stocks. Can you, Ernie, make the weed market go lower for me? No, but I am going to wait for it to go down lower. And a lot of people didn't listen to me. I had said many times that on October 17th, the market was going to crash, and it did. And let's see, where is it now, by the way? Let's check that out. And I said that explicitly. October 17th, it would crash. You can go back, look at it. Many, many videos talked about it in great detail. Let's see, let's put it in here. And then see where it is and see just how right I was. It's got a little bit of a dead cat bounce, but let's take a look at that. Just got to resize the window here and then bring it on screen share. We're going to take a look at the ETF MJ, which is the, it's called Alternative Harvest ETF. And it has the 30 biggest companies in crypto, of which virtually all of them are in Canada. And so we're going to take a look at that right now. So here it is. Here it is. Oh, let's see. What day is that? Oh, that would be October 18th, where it started to go down. And oh, look at that little dead cat bounce here. It's going to come up and it's going to go down further. I think it's going to go down at least to 25. Now remember, this is the 30 biggest stocks. Some of these are available for trading on the NASDAQ. You can trade MJ on the NASDAQ over the counter. There are options available, so it's pretty cool. But I would say that if you look at this volume well right here where we stopped, that's going to create tremendous resistance, and I think we'll go down from here. And we'll keep on going down until we find some kind of bottom. Now, this is sort of like the dead cat bounce, and then we'll keep on bouncing, very similar to Bitcoin. So this is a classic bubble, by the way. Come up, blow off top, secondary top, come down, dead cat bounce, and then fade away. And then that's where we're going to start finding value. Talked about that many times, too. None, how you doing? The Bitcoin crash quickly, please, to silence these fools. Yeah, well, it's going to be slow and arduous and painful. It's going to just keep on sliding and slide. At some point, this level is just going to give way and it's going to drop. And I said that is when all of the whales have come to Jesus and realized there's just no stopping it. The only way Bitcoin and crypto is going to live is that it must first die. Ratio long, short, ready. Okay. Cheers, Ern. See you when XRP is king, as you are unable to debate anyone and just call us idiots. It's, well, because you produce no argument, no proof. I've talked about it extensively, why XRP is a piece of shit. And all you do is keep on saying that XRP is going to go to the moon, and then you say you're going to trigger me as if that's going to trigger me, and just a little bit. But you provide nothing, not a scintilla of evidence on what it's doing and why we should believe that XRP is going to do anything of use. So that's why there's no debate, because I'm doing all the debating, I'm providing all the arguments, and I'm throwing them up against a wall, a big brick wall with eyes on it. Toucan Sam, I hate the smell of weed. People smoke it in their cars in public. I can't stand it. Oh, well, sorry. Sorry, really. So I hate the smell of cigarette smoke. That's awful. But there are a lot of people now that are taking up vaping, and you can vape shatter, wax, oil, rosin, and or distill it, and there's virtually no smell. I could vape right in the middle of a public, and no one would know that I'm smoking weed. People should smoke it in their houses. Why, who the fuck are you? This is America. Freedom. Freedom! Should be free to go wherever the fuck we want, do whatever the fuck we want, as long as we don't fuck with anybody else. Fuck yeah. And do what? I listened. Made some bucks, shorting CGC to 40 bucks. Bought some weed. Good. I love universal irony. Why are you going to buy crypto if it has no purpose? I didn't say it has no purpose. I think there is some purpose in the future for cryptocurrency, for specific markets, demographics, etc. I think there is some purpose for decentralized applications and having a ledger, a decentralized ledger. I think that there are purposes, there are use cases for that. What I'm saying is that as of right now, it is incompatible with everything that has to do with current day commerce, culture, and the way we do business and governments, period. It is incompatible. Now, if you think that, that assertion is wrong, then provide some proof. See, the burden is on them, not me. The people that are introducing this into society. It is not, the burden isn't on society. The burden is on the people presenting the technology. They have to prove it. They have yet to prove it. How likely you think Democrats are to win the House? Mainstream media seems to claim it's almost certain. Well, of course, it was, that CNN poll had Hillary Clinton at, 92 to 8%, that she would win over Trump. 92 to 8%. Virtually every other poll said it was a statistical certainty. And now those same people are claiming the same thing. Just think about that. I produced many, you didn't produce any arguments. I'm not even going to finish that sentence. Faster tech. Faster for who? Right? It's not faster if they can't use it or make it work. More relations in the business sector. Better fundamental. What the fuck are you talking about? This is all bullshit. There's none of that stuff. And then you go on to say, have a voice and so easily dismiss any argument making you sound right. No, because if everything were as you say it was, then it would become a technology that other people would gravitate towards and it would take hold, but it isn't. So therefore, your argument is full of shit. Phil LeDrew, agreed. See, he agrees too. Cryptocurrency must die before anything real happens. Blockchain is more interesting right now, but it's just a tech like any other. Your CTO cares, not traders. That's what I meant earlier. Yeah, I mean, blockchain, the technology behind blockchain isn't very interesting. It's nothing more than a linked list where the links are cryptographic keys of the previous content. That is not interesting. We've been using that for decades, many, many decades. Not interesting at all. And also using it in decentralized and distributed systems. Again, that in tuple-based systems, for instance, which I have been part of and helped build into many of the exchanges that are currently in place right now. Probably didn't know that. Not interesting. Some of the applications around it, some of the uses of it are somewhat unique, and the use cases. And the network effect that you have once you have a sufficient number of people out there, that makes it different. The technology isn't different, just the use of it makes it a different ecosystem. And so that is somewhat interesting. But it is still incompatible with mainstream, period. Yeah, Phil LeDrew, you just say it. Totally incompatibility, culture especially. It requires time. This is a historical period, kind of length, say a decade at least. I agree 100%, and I've said that many times. See, what a lot of you people, I'm not making that racist, like you people, but you people, simply don't understand because you're ignorant. And I don't mean that in like a pejorative sense. It's just the fact. You're ignorant about technology and what it actually takes to get that technology moving in a market. That was my specialty. That's what I did. I was a technology management consultant. I helped businesses realize their business goals and how they were going to marry that with the technology that they had. That's what I did for a living. Internationally. That's what I did. This stuff is not rocket science, to me anyways. What did you do to lose so much weight? What is your secret? I'm on a keto diet. I am eating predominantly meat and vegetables. I eat no bread, no pasta, no sugars, nada, nothing. That's pretty much it. And I'm not hungry. I don't have to eat as much. It's wonderful. But thank you for noticing. Anyways, appreciate it. Besides you thinking you're a god and everyone else is an idiot. My wife says that all the time too. I'm not God. I'm smart. And unfortunately, I know I'm smart, and I think way above most people. But I know people that are smarter than me. I mean, I have, I don't know if my IQ is the same as when I took the IQ test when I was younger, but I took an IQ test when I was younger, and I had an IQ of 154. That's just 2 points lower than Albert Einstein. But, does that make me better? Not necessarily. Having a high IQ doesn't necessarily make you a better person either. But I do have the ability to see things, big, complex things, and make sense of them almost immediately without having to think about them. It just comes to me. I see arguments in my head. I see they're working them out in many different facets and entanglements, and then being able to see the conclusion like that. And so from that, I can see, the end game of a lot of these things relatively quickly. Sometimes I'm right. Well, most of the time I'm right. Sometimes I'm wrong. Mark Burbot. Hello, how you doing? I just woke up. Oh, good for you. I guess that depends on where you're from, whether you just woke up and that's like remarkable or not. What a pleasure to be live on your show. How are you, Ernie? I'm just fucking awesome. I feel so good. So happy to be on your live stream, your predictions for Bitcoin price in January 2019. Well, they don't change much from what I've said before. I think that we're in a long, protracted bear market. There may be one more blip up and then down. That's based on some insider knowledge that I have. But generally, I've said all along that we're going to be in some kind of range between 9K and 1K or 4K. And it may go down as low as 1K, predominantly staying in the lower half of that range and in that bear market for the next 12 to 18 months. That's what I foresee. That's my prediction. Just the way things are moving, I think that's what we're going to see. Time will show us how good your service is, but I already know how it will play out. No, you don't. You don't know fuck. You don't know fuck. We've been working on this for 4 years, and it's been working for 4 years. And now we've introduced it to people, and it's working with the people. So, yeah, you don't know fuck, Keston. You don't. I don't even know. But I have high degree of confidence only because I've been working on it for a while and understand what, why it works. Phil says, I stand corrected. It is indeed the use cases and not the tech itself. Yeah, absolutely. I've said that all along. You worked on Swift? Yeah. I worked with all the major banks in the United States, not internationally, but all the major banks, and helped them implement Swift and other international payment systems and payment systems from intra and interbank. Do you have any input on SIPs? No. By the way, I've been out of the business for quite some time. That business anyway. So some people are saying it will undermine USD reserve status. What you say? I will come back to you on that. SIPS is the Chinese version. Maybe I just don't know the acronym, and that's where I'm getting. The Chartered Institute of Procurement and Supply. I'm guessing that that's probably not what this is. Yeah, I don't know. But if you want to, point me to something, then I'll let you know. Everett Baptist. Whoa! My wife said that as well, laughing my ass off. That's funny. Funny that is. Toucan Sam, I have a low IQ. You are lucky. Sometimes it is a curse to have a high IQ, because you're around other people that simply don't see what you see. And it's very difficult sometimes to explain to them what you see because they're incapable of seeing it. And so then you are continually searching for metaphors, analogies, cliches, because that's what most people that have lower IQs think in. They think in terms of cliches because they can't come up with any other sufficiently descriptive way of expressing their thought. But you're trying to come up with and build up these pictures and stories for other people, and then you try different angles in hopes that they'll understand. And that's the frustrating part about having a high IQ. But in few words, what is your opinion on the elections? What is going to happen tomorrow? All right. First of all, I don't know what's going to happen, but this is what I'm going to project and what I think. I think that there is a silent majority that still exists, very similar to 2016, and there will be, in fact, a much larger red wave than people think and a much smaller blue wave than people think. I don't believe that the Democrats will overtake the House. I think that they'll gain seats, but I don't think they'll overtake. I think that the Republicans will gain seats in the Senate. Maybe, let's say 2. They'll gain 2 more seats. They will lose probably, I don't know. They will maintain a majority in the House by, I'm going to predict 5 seats. You should have titled this, Ernie Pounds His Chest Hour. I pound my chest every time I come on. Every friggin' time. Oh, someone's calling me. This might be an important call. Hello? Yes? Is this... Hi, Jose. We were supposed to talk in an hour from now. Yeah, you said 3 p.m. Oh, yeah, that's right. We had daylight savings time. Yeah, I will. Bye. It's a client. He's in a different time zone, in a different country, so he didn't know that we changed our clocks Sunday. And you can articulate the arguments with cutting precision. Sometimes. Philodro, low IQ doesn't prevent you from being very successful and good at something you like. That's very, very true. Effort and regularity is where it's at. Again, that's very true. Being consistent and persistent and motivated, those are probably the most important things. Give it years of hard training experience. IQ is just one factor. All of that, Phil, is very true. Mark Burbot, I appreciate your honest truth. Do you still eat plenty of vegetables on your diet to clean out the stomach? Yeah, I do. The wife, last night, our dinner was shrimp and asparagus and a salad, kind of an Asian salad. So yeah, I have enough vegetables every day. I snack on vegetables occasionally. Nick Painter, mastering persuasion, useful for debating idiots. Yeah. Do you think this market is similar to the one of 2015? According to that market, we're due for one more fake out to the upside before a bottom. Yeah, I don't know. Because there are patterns, and then there are patterns. That's not a pattern that's very common. It could look like that. A lot of people are expecting to go up from here. I think that the market right now is waiting for tomorrow. I think. And I think that if it goes full on Republican, this market will take off. I believe that. If it doesn't, if they lose the House, I think that'll be really bad for the market. Take care, Toucan Sam. Booger's Guy, there's a name. But you said you know several people smarter than you. So we should conclude that their IQ is 155 plus? Yes. Well, yes, I would say. Some people do different things with their IQ, and they learn different things. And so I guess it depends on your area of study. Some people have a different type of IQ. Some are very good at recognizing process. Some people are good at reading emotions, and others are good from a cultural point of view. They understand that interaction. And different people have different acuity, you know, so that depends. So some people may seem smarter than you because they're more learned in a particular area. But then when you start looking at, I don't know, it's not a hard and fast line. Dex for sure. Most people, sadly, only go with their feelings over logic. Most people actually lack the capability to draw rational, independent conclusions. That's why many politicians exploit that as well. That's very true. Politicians basically work on a principle of fear and adulation. You know, it's like this sort of yin yang. Stick with me, I'll give you shit. As a technologist, would you say Chainlink has any future? Chainlink. Decentralized oracles to provide data to smart contracts. Check it out if not familiar. Let me just say this, that virtually all cryptocurrencies are the same if you look at them all as distributed or decentralized ledgers. And what I'm saying is that all of them, regardless of what their technology is, are before their time. They simply will not work in today's society, culture, technology, business models. Just won't. They won't work in this environment. We're not ready for them. Paul Palladino, if red triumphs, will it set off the left? And if so, would that spook out the market? That is a very good question. Because as you know, a lot of the biggest financiers are on the left. And will they double down with what they've been doing to try to overtake or overturn this presidency? I don't think that, well, I mean, obviously, the next big goal is 2020, and that's going to be a biggie. And oh, by the way, I'm going to be very involved in behind the scenes in projects, in operations, moving into that date, that event. Not to try to push it one way or the other, but mostly for personal and compatriot gain. But yeah, I think that they will find a new lease, so to speak, on their charge. Do you think there is going to be another pot stock sell-off? No, I think the big sell-off has happened. I think what we're waiting for now is for an expansion of the ecosystem. More states, and particularly after this election, will come on board with their own legalization version. And that will continue to bolster this idea and this acceptance of cannabis. Recently, the FDA has approved a drug for epilepsy, believe it or not, that is based on cannabis. And so that's very good. And it's going to be very interesting to see how that dichotomy between the DEA and the FDA will exist in government. So I'm not sure what's going to happen there, but I expect that there will be some de minimis view from the DEA. They'll stop backing off on their stance that cannabis is just, a Schedule I drug. Once that happens, blammo, there's going to be all kinds of companies that are going to leapfrog into existence. Not all faith is lost yet in Bitcoin yet. I haven't said that. So be clear about that. I want to be clear. I have not lost. First of all, I don't have any faith at all in this technology. There's nothing to have faith in. I don't look at it as a savior to humanity in any way, like the Bitcoin faithful do. Markets bottom when the last seller has sold, whatever the fuck that means. And bull markets end when there are no more buyers. My last name pronounced Burbot. High voltage, top of the day to you too. Ramon Lopez. Ernie, do you follow the real estate market? What's your prediction? Probably not as closely as I should. But a lot of places, I think, in some areas are oversold. There's still a lot of areas that have not yet caught up. I don't think the whole market yet has expanded anywhere as far as it could. So I think it's going to be a while. MJ won't go back below 30. You have made the proclamation, J.R. Browse. It shall not go below 30, says J.R. Browse, because he is the king of cannabis. Much safer than drug and alcohol, but that has nothing to do with anything. All comes down to value, and virtually all of the 30 stocks, companies that are listed under MJ are grossly overvalued. Linked lists in C++, the good old days. Yeah, in C++ and in Java and in Ada and in other technologies, other object technologies. Even, no, they weren't in Forth. Trying to think of how far back. They went pretty far back. Do you think there will be a debt crisis in the next years that could lead to a recession or worse, a depression? I don't think we're going to see another depression for a long time. A real long time. Decades. Really, many decades. But there could be a recession, but a very light recession over the next several years, several decades, but not big. I'm asking if you think it will go below 30 again. I just said that I just made fun of you for saying that it won't go below 30. Of course it will go below 30. Where are we right now? We're at 32.74, and you don't think it's going to go below 30? Are you in your fucking right mind? Oh my God. It's going to go below 30 many, many times. And I think it's going to go below 25. So that's that. All right. I am done. I am done with you. I am done with this. But in a good way. I want to thank everybody. Thank you so much for joining me today. Oh, Mark Burbot is bringing up Martin Armstrong calling for a prolonged bull market. But I called that a long time ago. I've been saying that for months and months and months. But when the next recession hits, it's going to be real bad. Not many people can pronounce my last name perfectly like Burbot. Lorenzo Bruto. Oi! And Booger Guy, do you think that the 10 period moving average, weekly rising above the 50? No, I don't even have to read the rest. No, I don't think. It's all bullshit. There is no statistical significance in that, nor is there one in the 50-100 or the 50-200 or the 100-200 or any other moving average crossover. Simple as that. You're welcome, Phil. Take care. Crypto Shield, go Republicans. I think most of the Republicans that are in office today are a bunch of assholes. Fucktards. That's what I call them. A fucktard and a libtard are almost the same. Just on different ends of the spectrum. It's been 45 minutes. Shut her down. Okay, I will. Thanks a heaps. Great live stream. Thank you for your time. But we'll see you all. Hit that like button. Hit the like button right now. Go and hit the like button as I speak. Click it. You only click it once. Make sure that it's highlighted. And then click the share button and then share this out to your social media. All right? Really appreciate it. We'll see you next time. Adios.